I'm Brian Canone for FitnessSalesTraining.com, and I'm here with Kathy Savage, KathySavageFitness.com. And we were talking about how you got started into the industry as a personal trainer, working and renting space out of a health club.
Right.
And in that progression of time, you eventually opened your own studio. So how did that come about where you went from in a club now to have your own studio? Was that a hard decision to make?
I think making that transition from renting in a gym, being very comfortable, not worrying about the plumbing and the electricity, to taking that leap of faith to open up a studio, because honestly that's what it is, it's a leap of faith, is a big step for most people. Even for me, I was paying rent at a gym, but it doesn't compare to the cost behind opening up a studio, marketing the studio, worrying about the lighting, the flooring, the mirrors, the equipment. I think most trainers want to have a studio of their own. I think it's a goal that we all have. But then when you sit down and you write down all of the expenses and the insurance and everything else, it is a real daunting task. So you really have to take that leap of faith and believe that you have a good enough base to sustain the monthly rent or the mortgage, whatever it is that you decide. But to me, there has to be a real sense of security before you do that. I think a lot of trainers rush to finding space when they're not really ready for it yet. I always mentor young trainers, some of whom are my clients, and I will always say to them, have at least 6 months of the rent in the bank, because you're not going to just open up the door and have clients. I think the biggest thing would be to have a huge pool of clients already, and that's what I did. So the day that I opened up my studio, I already had a nice traffic of business, so I didn't have to worry about paying the rent, marketing, going out there, trying to find clients. I had the clients. They basically just left the gym that they were at and they came here. So I promoted it as our new home and created it kind of that way, because I think that had I done it earlier, yes, I would have been okay, but after the MTV show that I did in 2004, I think it was 2004, I was able to get a lot more business, and that gave me a sense of security. So then it was time to open up my own business. But everything has to be really set. If you have kids, you have to make sure that the kids are taken care of, because if you have your own studio, you have to work harder. You have to be busier. You have to make up those hours. Every hour you want your studio working, whereas at the gym you don't really have to worry that way. So it brings on a whole different level of being a business person versus a personal trainer.
We talked about some trainers. Sometimes they got to look at all of their situation. They may be better staying in a gym than having a studio if they have the right rent and if they have a good clientele there. With you, it was just that progression with the TV show and everything else that just made it where you kind of wanted to get your own place to that level. But yeah, everybody has to start somewhere, and we talked with other trainers too about starting in a large chain, having a lot of that funnel of clients in front of you first, and people that you can build your clientele from, other than just opening the doors with a studio and not having that marketing behind you and all those people coming in to see you.
You're so right. It's the worst thing you can do is to take on a rent. It's like after you graduate from college not having a job and going to get an apartment. Hello? No one would do that. You've got to get a job first before you get an apartment or buy a home. It is the same thing. Let the gym be your home and stay there and get the benefits of them. Work out a deal with them. Write a free newsletter to defray the rent. You can work with the gym management if you're a good trainer. So I would say that more trainers than not should stay where they are. They got a good rent, they don't have to worry about ceilings leak, and I can tell you right now, when the ceiling leaks and it's your studio, it's a pain in the neck. So I think you're right. I think focusing on the marketing within the gym is just a whole house where you can collect clients from. They're coming into the gym, and then your job as a good trainer and a good marketer is to try to get them to work with you. So I think that having a gym there is the best way for a new trainer to really get more traffic. And then I would say, you know, most trainers do stay at gyms if the deal is good. And you can control that. You can work with the management, like I had said, do some things for them so that the relationship is good. And you know what? You might be perfectly better off being at a gym. I know that because the gym, like I said, the gym rent is usually lower than your studio rent.
Sure.
And after all, you got to control your costs.
Okay. Yeah, so as a personal trainer, if you want to start off, definitely start in a large club and then work your way. If the studio works out where it's going to benefit you, then you want to make that jump. So,
Yep. Good advice.
okay. So Kathy Savage at kathysavagefitness.com, and I'm Brian Cano. Thank you.